Hey, it's Friday, video follow through time, and we are in Luke 15. We're going to cover 25 to 30 today as we look at the older brother in this parable of the prodigal son. Now, often, we think of the prodigal son, the one who went away, the younger one, the one who shamed his dad and did all of that, and that impacted the older brother, right? Because he stuck around. He's the good one. He's the golden boy. He hadn't left. He didn't do any of those bad things to his dad, and so we would think would be the shining star. You'd think like he'd hear this party that's going on and be like, yeah, little brother's back, awesome, and share in his father's joy. Not so much. See, this is why I think I agree with many scholars who say that this parable should be called not the prodigal son, but the loving father. Because it's all about the father's love. First for that younger one, but now for this older one who's got a major, major problem. Let's check it out. Let's see what he does. Let's see how he responds. Because he hears what's going on and he asks one of the servants, hey, what's going on? He's like, well, your brother's back. And I don't think that sits well with him. Because think about this. He took 1/3 of the inheritance, of the estate, right? So because the dad divided it. And guess what? And I never thought of this until I read Keller's book called The Prodigal God, that, that money did not come back with him. It was gone. And so now this scoundrel of a brother is going to get 1/3 of a much smaller, at least in his mind, a much smaller estate. Because that's what he's all about. He's just like the younger brother in so many ways. I mean, he doesn't think he is, right? Because he's like, he goes to his dad, look, I have always been here. In fact, he refuses to go into the party. Because he says, look, I've been here, I have slaved for you, and never once did you get a fatted calf for me and my friends so we could hang out and we could celebrate. He sees his dad as his boss, as his employer. And he's been a very good employee. So he should have a little plaque on the wall that says Employee of the Month. I mean, that's what he thinks should happen. And certainly, and perhaps even, I mean, it's not in the text, but perhaps even, why are we even letting him come back, this younger brother? Look at all he did. See, he had the same attitude as those Pharisees and those scribes did, who got mad when Jesus was reaching out to sinners and tax collectors and people far from God. Here is this younger brother who was as far from the family as you can be, right? He kind of had written everybody off. And now he gets to come back? And look at what the father says. You're always with me, right? Tomorrow we're going to talk about the father's response in more depth. But he even accepts him, right? And it's just amazing that this brother could be this way. And I got to ask you today, which of these two do you tend to sort of see in yourself? Do you see yourself like that younger brother or like the older one? Because really, it's that same issue. Neither of them really care about the father. They just want his stuff. One runs off and one stays, but they still were all about the stuff. Not their father, not his love for them, not their place in the kingdom, their place in the family. And what about us? What about us? See, I think that the tragedy, if we feel this way and if we act this way, is that we miss out on a life, a whole life, an eternal life with our Father who loves us and cares about us. So much so that why would we run off and why would we stay and think of ourselves as slaves? But rather as children, loved and cared for by Him, forgiven and set free and continuing to be transformed. Listen to this, with God giving us all that we need every single day without exception. And then on those days where we're distant, on those days where we run off, He goes out and takes us home and brings us home. just like that lost sheep that we talked about on Sunday. He carries us home to be with him, and heaven rejoices. So rejoice with me today. Rejoice that you're found. Rejoice that he loves you. And let's go see who he wants us to talk to today about him, to show him what this Father is really all about. All right? Have a great Friday, and we'll see you tomorrow.